Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Radiance by Randy. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the stats that got me into an Ivy League, specifically Penn. And yeah, I'm reading from my computer because I forgot my tablet at home. So yeah, and yeah, I'm going to just get started. So right now I'm looking at the Common App application that I submitted. And so there's actually two ways that you can submit college applications. There's Coalition and then there's Common App. And I submitted my applications via Common App. Okay, and so under my profile, there's personal information. So there's my name, and I put my preferred name, I put my birth date, my pronouns, and then you just put your address and all that information. And then, so for demographics, I put that I'm female. And then military status, I put current dependent because my mother is a veteran. And then I'm not Hispanic or Latina, and I'm Black or African American, and I put US African American Caribbean. And then for languages, I put that English is my first language and I read, write, and speak it. And then for Spanish, I put that I read and write it. And then for geography and nationality, I'm a US citizen and I was born in Brooklyn, New York. And then I qualified for a fee waiver, and I didn't qualify like you normally would, like if you qualify for a fee assistance program, but because I had special circumstances, I was able to get my college counselor to sign off on it. Yeah. And so basically, let me explain that. So my special circumstance is that my mother, so she was a veteran, but she's a disabled veteran. She was injured in the army, so now she's on 100% disability. So the income she makes would sometimes seem like too much for two people, but then she also has her hospital bills and things of that sort to pay. So yeah, so that was like our special circumstance. And then for family, my parents have never married, and so I come from a single parent household. And so they asked for my mother's name, my mother's contact information, her occupation, which I put that she's currently disabled and she's technically retired from the military. And then for education, I put that she got her bachelor's from Brooklyn College. And then for my parent too, I put that I had limited information about this parent because I really just did not know any of these things. So I put my biological father's name and that his occupation is disability because they're both disabled. Yeah. And for my education, I just put my high school, which was Miss Hall School, and yeah. Oh, and then I also asked if it was a boarding school. I don't know. I don't really know why or if that's even considered in admissions, but they asked. And so when I applied with my junior year grades, which was a 94.5 on a 100 scale. And on a 4.0 scale, that would be a 3.78. And at my school, so my junior year, oh no, they didn't ask for my junior year courses. They asked for my senior year courses. So the way that my school works, my high school works, is that they have these courses called Hallmark courses. So Miss Hall School does not offer AP courses, but they offer Hallmark courses kind of as a replacement. And Hallmark courses are equally as rigorous as AP courses, but they're more geared so that we learn instead of learn the information and then just take a test and then forget the information. So the class is more hands-on depending on what the course was. And so my senior year, I took all Hallmark courses, and the the maximum amount of courses you can take at Miss Hall School is 6 courses, and I took 6 hallmarks, and that was a lot. So these are the courses I took. So for both semesters of my senior year, I took Hallmark Calculus, Hallmark Biotechnology, Hallmark Ethics of Literature, Hallmark Humanities Seminar, Hallmark Inorganic Chemistry, and Hallmark Spanish. Yes. So it was a lot of hallmarks. It was like a lot of information, a lot of homework, and yeah. And so now I'm gonna jump over to my resume to talk about like my activities and extracurriculars that I was doing at the same time as I was taking these courses. And so I was a Black Affinity Group co-head. I was social committee head. I was an admissions ambassador. I had competed in HOSA, which is this program for like students interested in science or medicine. And then I was a clarinet player in a jazz band, and I played clarinet for all 4 years of my high school career. And then I was part of my school's Big Little program, which like, you know, helps upperclassmen introduce lowerclassmen or like freshmen to campus and like the new school environment. And then my freshman year, I did chemistry club, Chinese culture club, and science bowl. And I still put those on my resume, even though I didn't do those like in my like sophomore, junior, and senior year, because those clubs were never offered again. But you know, they were still like important and related to my like what I wanted my college career to be, which is biology. And then I was on the varsity tennis team for all 4 years, and then I was tennis team captain in my senior year. And then there was just some like programs that I did that was outside of school, and those happen to be Wally Scholarship Program. And so that program is like geared towards students in the minority, and it's located specifically in New York, and students from different parts of New York City like come together. So it could be people from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, etc. And they would come. Okay, sorry y'all about that. My phone ran out of storage, so I had to go and delete some pictures, which was not fun. But anyways, I was mentioning Wally Scholarship Program, which just basically helps minority students get admitted into boarding schools, private or independent schools, and specialized high schools, or just like really good public schools. And so they help with like the secondary school admissions test, or the ISEE. Yeah, SSAT or ISEE, which are both tests that you have to take to be admitted into those independent and boarding schools. So they help you prepare for that, and they help you with the high school applications. And so they were a big role in how I got accepted into Miss Halls. And then I also did mentoring in medicine, and I did that for about like 5 years. And it was just an online program, and it's for like students who are also interested in medicine. And there were some that were like every day, there were some that were in person, there were some that were like every other day, once a week. You know, it just depended on like the program. And I never did an in-person one, but I did one of the programs where we like create like a website, and we just worked on projects, and it was like people from all over that were on that program. And then another one was Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth, also known as Johns Hopkins CTY, and I was part of that program for many years. And so I had to test into that program, and I did like during the summer, I would read different books, and then we'd had to like answer discussion questions. It was basically like a summer course, but they offered it for free, and that was how I spent some of my summers sometimes. And then another thing was A Better Chance, and A Better Chance was a huge part of college admission and high school admission. They also help with the test that I mentioned before, the SSAT and the ISEE. They helped with high school applications. They gave webinars about college applications and things of that sort. And they're also for minority students, and they're like nationwide. So they're like a way bigger program than Wildly, but Wildly and A Better Chance were just as helpful. And then I did the HOP MSKCC speaker series. And I believe HOP stands for Human Oncology something program. And it was from Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. That's what the MSKCC is. And I attended like the weekly webinars and the weekly meetings, and they were like giving sessions about certain diseases, and that was what I also did during the summer. And I did that during the summer of 2020. And then also during the summer of 2020, I did the Experiment Digital, which was a way to do community service, and it was online. And I got to meet students from like Yemen and like different parts of Africa. Like it was just like all over the place. And it was a really good program, and we just worked on a project, and it really helped us like focus on what like sort of volunteer we can do, and you know how we can contribute to the world. And then another thing I did summer of 2020 was Varsity Tutors biology and chemistry course. And Varsity Tutors provides like a lot of services for, I think, for SAT prep, ACT prep, and then the SSAT and ISEE prep. And they offered a couple science courses, and I took those. And so these last three things that I mentioned, you notice they were all during the summer of 2020, and that was because a lot of people were like inside, and then like, you know, people couldn't go to internships and stuff. And so I was like, you know, I have to still be active. I still have to contribute to like my resume and still be like academically on top of it. So during the summer, I was like, okay, let me do these programs, and that way I still had something to go on my resume. I was still learning things. Yeah. And then for work, so it's kind of tricky to talk about this because this is specific to New York residents. And so I did this summer youth employment program, which the DYCD, which is Department of Youth and Child Development, I believe that's what it stands for. That's a service that they provide, and it's for students aged 15 to 21. I think the age range, like the minimum age, like it was raised, but when I first started, the minimum age was 15, and so I started like doing summer work when I was 15. And the first time I was employed, they assigned me to this program where I worked on STEAM, and so we were split. So everyone who decided to choose STEAM for the summer were split into like groups, and then we like all researched different topics. And so that's what I did. And my group, we decided on sickle cell anemia, and I was a group leader for that project, and we just worked all summer for that. And so I also put that on my resume. And then recently, well, that's not that recent, but summer of 2021, I did another SYEP site, and it was called the 67th Precinct Clergy Council, and it was a advocacy program for victims of gun violence or families who lost loved ones to gun violence. And so I worked on that, and we didn't only like advocate, we also like provided programs for like the youth in the community to get together and like to have fun, whether it was to play basketball, to do slam poetry, spoken word, all of that. Yeah. And then moving on to my volunteer experience, so one of the things I did for the longest was volunteer at a food pantry, and I started volunteering there in 2014, and then I stopped in 2020 because of COVID. But yeah, 2014. I think I was, how old was I in 2014? I was 10, right? I don't know what grade I was there, but I was 10 in 2014. And yeah, and so I also volunteered with NYC Parks and Recreation Department, and I first started volunteering through them with Girl Scouts because we had this like seasonal Concert Grove cleanup, which was we would go to a park and all of the girls would help like pull out weeds, and we would like help plant different plants, and you'd meet girls from all over. And then later on, I decided to like just go to different like park cleanups separate from the Girl Scouts, and then I just helped clean up. And most of the time it was me raking leaves, and one time I restored a bocce ball court, and we would do different things like that. And then another thing I did was TEDx Youth at Miss Hall's school. And Miss Hall's was actually really on top of it with making us be active in our community and volunteer work. And they have this program called the Horizons program, and it was our way of, contributing and giving service. And so I can't remember what I did in my freshman year of high school for Miss Hall's. At Miss Hall's, so the freshman year, I forgot that all freshmen have to work in the greenhouse. So we worked in the greenhouse, and then we sold those plants. Yes, in the second part of the spring semester. So in fall semester, we would work on plants, and then in the spring semester, we worked in the ceramic studio, and then we made pots for those plants and like glaze and all of that. And then at the end of the spring semester, we sold all of those plants, and then we would have that like contribute to our class fund. Yeah, so I just remembered that. And then my sophomore year of high school for the Horizons program, I volunteered at Morningside Community School, and it was a community school that was nearby our high school, and I worked with first graders in science, math, and reading, and we did that for half the day on Thursdays. And then my junior year, I did the TEDx Youth at Miss Hall's because we were online, and so we ran that program online, and we met with speakers, and we vetted submissions, and then we ran that at the end of the school year. And then my senior year, they allowed us to do things that were closer to our college major or what we wanted to do for our career. And because I'm pre-med, they allowed me to work at an assisted living facility. And I worked at Wingate Residencies, and I did that for most of the school year, from November to like March. Yeah. And then, so other activities that I just included on my resume was Girl Scout, and I was a Girl Scout since 2009. I still participate in Girl Scouts. And then I included dance, and I don't dance anymore. I haven't danced in a very long time, but I included it because it was such a huge part of my life. I danced from 2008 to 2018. And tennis, I haven't played tennis in a year, but I'm planning to start again. So the last time I played tennis was last summer, but I was playing tennis from 2009, so since I was 5. And then swimming, I also haven't swam in like years. I believe I ended swimming like my junior or senior year of high school. And I started swimming in 2008. And then martial arts. Of course, I put martial arts on there. I've been doing martial arts from 2012. And so since I was 8 years old, and when I applied to colleges, I was a junior black belt. And all of these activities that I put on my resume, they show my consistency, they show my service to my community, they show like Girl Scouts show sisterhood, you know, and I tried that in my college application, like how I wanted to be part of sororities for like the sisterhood. And so these things can connect to college. And when you apply, they ask if you're going to continue these things. Clarinet, I said no, I'm not continuing it because I feel that I need more instruction. So I would have to get more instruction first, and then maybe I'd like join a band or something. And then like dance, I'm not planning to do dance again anytime soon. Swimming, probably not, but I currently do Taekwondo club, and I still join my Girl Scout meetings. So, you know, those things I'm still active in, and I was active in for a very, very long time. Yeah, so that's like it for like my resume, for like all of the activities I was in when I applied to high school, and you know what was on my college application. And yeah, so another thing that I wanted to mention was that I, like at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that my GPA was a 94.5, which it was when I applied. And then like around January or something, schools asked for an updated transcript. And after my first semester of taking hallmarks, and all hallmarks are weighted, so after my first semester, my GPA definitely rose because I was getting A's and A minuses in those courses. And so I don't know what my GPA was at that exact time, but I know that I ended the school year on a 97. So my GPA definitely did increase. And I don't know exactly what it was when, you know, schools asked for those updated transcripts, but I'm pretty sure those were also considered in our admissions. And by the time, like, most IVs were due by January, so they definitely saw those updated grades. And so I think that was a major contributor, that they were able to see me like take on such a heavy course load and like do so well. But yeah, that's it for the stats that got me into Penn, also an Ivy. And I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned from this video. And I hope you understand that, like, if you're a student applying this upcoming fall, I just want you to know that, you know, just apply to that school, because I didn't even mention it. I didn't take the SATs. I had no APs, and I had a 3.7 GPA when I applied. So, you know, just try. Just do it. Just submit that application. Just write that supplement. I'm telling you, it will be worth it, because it's a lot of work, but you know, you just don't know, because some schools, they, like, your counselor would say they're reach schools, which they might be, but you also have a chance of getting in. So just apply to those schools. That's all I can really say. So yeah, I hope you learned from this video. I hope you like this video. So if you do like this video, make sure you like, comment, any questions you may have or any things you want to add, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this is not the only video in my college admission series. My next video is gonna be the schools that I applied to, and I applied to 32 schools, so you're gonna want to hear that. Anyways, yes, so thanks for watching. Bye.